Welcome back, folks. Sorry about the lack of an intro today, but we're just going to get right on into it. Today, we're going to be making chicken piccata, one of my all-time favorite dishes. You're going to start by taking your chicken cutlets and trimming the excess fat off. Once you're trimmed up, you're going to take each breast and you're going to try to kind of press it down firmly with one hand and then take your knife and just run it through horizontally, trying to do what we call a butterfly, which means leave a little bit of meat kind of connecting the two halves. You don't want to cut all the way through. Once you're done with that, it should look something like this. Now, this chicken breast is gargantuan. So if yours doesn't look this crazy, don't worry about it. That's okay. But the method is the same regardless. So once you're butterflied, you're going to flatten your chicken out. There's a lot of ways to do this. Most of the time, I try to stick it into a Ziploc bag and then take something heavy and hard and just beat it probably 5 to 10 times to flatten it out. Helps to tenderize the meat a little bit, and it creates a more even work surface that the chicken will cook more evenly with. Once you're done getting all of your daily frustrations out, whether it was a fight with your girlfriend or boyfriend or your boss yelled at you, whatever it might be, you can take your chicken off of the cutting board and we can start prepping it to go into the pan. You are going to generously season each side of your chicken cutlet with salt and pepper and then let sit for probably about 5 to 10 minutes just to get a little bit of excess water off and let the salt and pepper kind of soak into the meat. And then once that's done, you can pat it dry if there is excess water on it. If not, don't worry about it. And then you're going to take a plate of just regular all-purpose flour, no seasoning. You can season it if you want. I didn't do that. It's not necessary because it kind of goes unnoticed in the final product. You're going to take your chicken cutlet and press it down firmly on both sides, making sure to cover every square inch of that bad boy with flour. And we do not want any excess, but we also do not want any bare spots. So try to kind of massage it in and then shake off the excess. While you are letting this chicken sit, you are going to take 1 tablespoon of your capers and pop that into your frying pan with a little bit of hot oil. The goal here is to fry it and kind of help it release some of its flavors. And then the oil that is left over after the capers get taken out of the oil is going to help flavor your chicken as well. So once you're done frying your capers, remove them. Do not throw them away. We are going to use them, but just remove them from the oil. And then add a little bit more oil to your skillet and then drop in your chicken cutlets. Now, your chicken cutlets are the goal here, and the whole reason that we do the dredge with the flour is to get a nice crispy exterior that's going to soak up all of the juices of the sauce that we're making. So the goal here is to make a nice crispy exterior. If you're not really achieving that, you might need to turn the heat up. And on the contrary to that, if you're starting to get too crispy too quickly and you feel like you're kind of just burning the outside without cooking the inside, lower the heat down a little bit and just kind of let it cook a little bit more slowly. It should take about 3 to 5 minutes per side, and once you're done with that, it should look something like this. You can take it off the heat and place it onto a tray or a plate, whatever you have, and then tent it with aluminum foil just to keep it warm. It is going to go back on the heat, so it's okay if it cools off a little bit. Now, in the same pan, you're going to add a tablespoon of oil, and then once it heats up and is nice and hot, you're going to take your shallot. I did not have a shallot, so I just used half of a Vidalia onion, but use what you can find. I haven't seen a shallot in the store in like 5 years, so white onion it was. Once the onion is cooked down a little bit, starting to get translucent, now you're going to take your chicken stock and your wine, put them both in together, and then start to deglaze your pan here. That means basically scraping the bottom with a wooden spoon, trying to get up all those brown bits that are on the bottom of the pan. That is where a lot of your flavor is coming from, and we don't want to lose that. So try to do your best to kind of scrape that up. After a couple of minutes of letting the alcohol cook off of the wine, you're going to add in your lemon juice and lemon slices to the pan. I didn't actually add lemon slices to mine just because I didn't want to. So from here, you're going to cook until all of your liquid has reduced by about 50%. It should take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes for that. Once you're at that about 50% point, you're going to add your chicken back into the pan so that it can absorb all of this delicious sauce. You can actually baste your chicken here a little bit, kind of like you would a steak. Just kind of take the sauce, plop it on top of the chicken and let it run off and repeat the process. Now, if you're like me and you found that your sauce was getting a little too dry, you were kind of losing the liquid, you can add another splash of wine or a splash of chicken stock just to get things a little bit loosened up again. There's no right or wrong way to do that, whatever you prefer. Also, forgot to mention it before, if you don't like to cook with alcohol for whatever reason, just double your chicken stock and drop the wine. Not a big deal. I should have told you earlier, but you're going to cook your pasta, and then once your pasta is done cooking, you're going to take your pasta directly out of the pot. Do not drain it in the sink. Just take it with a slotted spoon and pop it right into your pan just to coat the pasta with your sauce. Again, if at this point you're getting dry, you can actually take a quarter to a half cup of pasta water and drop that into the pan to help loosen things up a little bit. Then you can add your cold butter and your herbs, then stir it until everything has been combined. Your sauce should be nice and glistening at this point and very, very, very tasty. You can give it a taste. You may need some salt and pepper. I did not. The capers do provide a ton of salt, so definitely taste it before you go and add anything extra. And then in order to finish things up here, we're going to take our pasta, do your best to make it look pretty on the plate. I did 3 little nests of pasta that kind of worked, kind of didn't. And then on top of that, I went with this gargantuan chicken breast on top of that. And it looks a little ridiculous, to be honest with you, but I have to tell you, this was one of the most delicious things I've ever cooked for myself in my entire life. If you're afraid of kind of starting to cook more complex dishes at home, this is a great one to start with. You get a ton of different techniques involved, and it's a fairly forgiving recipe. And if you're kind of concerned about burning the chicken or overcooking or undercooking, not a big deal. You can actually do chicken thighs instead. And those are much more forgiving if you do overcook them. They're not going to really get too dry and gross because it's pretty hard to do that with dark meat. It's almost impossible. They're very, very forgiving. So now that we're plated up, we can give it a taste and go from there. Hey guys, this is the part of the video where I usually eat the food in front of you and tell you if it was good. But as soon as I took my thumbnail picture for the video, I started to eat it and then I couldn't stop eating it and now it's all gone. But that's a good sign. It was delicious. If you told me that that dish had costed $30, $40, or even $50 at an Italian restaurant, I would have happily paid it because it was absolutely delicious. It took like 30 minutes. Beginning to end, it's worth it. I promise. Follow this recipe. You can't mess it up and you'll have a great time. If you liked the video, if you could leave a like and subscribe, that would help the channel immensely and it allows me to kind of keep doing this and having fun with you guys each week. And I really appreciate it. So to make up for not having any food to show you, I have Jackson.